Zack Snyder's Justice League, or the Snyder Cut, is a strange beast in many ways. The idea of a director revisiting and reimagining a past work is not a new one, especially where outside forces had taken away creative control of the project. Warner Brothers are masters of the extensive and corrective director's cut, inviting back Ridley Scott and Richard Donner to essentially rebuild Blade Runner and Superman 2 from the ground up years after their final cut was originally taken away. In some ways, the Snyder Cut is no different than the final cut of Blade Runner or the Donner cut of Superman 2. However, it's also a product of the internet age, and has already provoked a somewhat intense reaction online from proponents and opponents of the decision to bring back in director Zack Snyder to provide him with a rumored budget of $70 million, to have him oversee 2,650 effects shots, and to package the whole thing for release on HBO Max. Indeed, it's tempting to wonder what function reviews like this will serve, when it seems like strong battle lines have already been drawn on both sides. That's to say nothing of trying to review the film within 3 minutes. Pity my editor. Hashtag release the Darren cut. In truth, the Snyder Cut is fine. It's neither disaster nor masterpiece. It is a significant improvement on the original theatrical release overseen by Joss Whedon, but so is staring at a blank screen for 4 hours. The Snyder Cut is big, it's bold, it's messy, it's very clearly a different film than the version released in cinemas, and one more reflective of director Zack Snyder's aesthetic and style. It's much more obviously of a piece with Snyder's earlier work in Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. That said, the Snyder Cut comes with its own strengths and weaknesses. Fans, and to be frank, critics, expecting the film to commit to the somewhat somber and self-serious tone of Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman will leave disappointed. After all, even before Snyder departed the film, there were lots of conciliatory interviews about how Justice League was going to be a lighter project. While the film strips out a lot of the more obvious Whedonisms of the theatrical cut, it's still very much a lighter and looser film than the previous 2 entries in the series. All of the political commentary about American self-image during the War on Terror has been toned down or removed completely. As the Flash, Ezra Miller is cast as the deadpan snarker of the team. More broadly, this is illustrative of a larger shift. If Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman were deconstructions of these archetypal comic book heroes and their classic screen portrayals, Justice League is aggressively a reconstruction. Characters who had in earlier installments deviated significantly from their classic designs look a lot more like their comic book selves, and several cues are lifted directly from prior works. More than that, the film struggles with the basic structural problem of having to introduce Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman in a single movie about the formation of the Justice League. There's a reason that Marvel chose to lead up to the release of the Avengers with Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and the Incredible Hulk. As a result, a lot of the film's 4-hour runtime is characters expositing mythology at one another over CGI-rendered shots. It might play a bit better in the 6 or 7-part television series that HBO Max offers, with Snyder structuring each chapter around a big action beat. Even then, I'm still not sure whether I'm horrified or impressed by the movie's commitment to the idea that it is getting a sequel. Still, there's a lot to enjoy here. Snyder has cited the Seven Samurai as an influence on his work, and there are times when Justice League plays as a version of the Seven Samurai, where each member of the samurai is expected to launch his own spin-off, which may explain why it's a good half-hour longer than Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai. At its best, the Snyder Cut plays as a globe-trotting adventure, with Snyder's fondness for Excalibur playing through in the film's emphasis on magical realms and mysterious artifacts. There's no denying that the man can shoot an action sequence. The Snyder Cut has a genuine sense of scale and majesty. The film attempts to position Ray Fisher's Cyborg as its own beating heart, but it's too crowded for his arc to work in the way that it needs to. While the film's themes or ideas aren't as ambitious as those in Man of Steel or Batman v Superman, there's an appealing sincerity at work. Justice League might just be the most earnest movie Snyder has made since Legends of the Guardians. And don't worry, I had to look that up too. The Snyder Cut is neither the masterpiece that its defenders want it to be, nor the disaster that its detractors seem to salivate over. It's an interesting and odd piece of work that is at once distinctly the work of its own director, and also perhaps most notable as a unique cultural artifact. Zack Snyder's Justice League releases on HBO Max on Thursday, 18th March.